All right, welcome everybody to the Mercer FCA podcast, episode number 20. I got my man Berko here with me, and look, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I had no idea what your first name was, so go ahead and introduce your full name. I only know you as Berko, so tell everybody who
Right,
you are.
right. That's funny. Well, how y'all doing? My name is Kwesi Berko. I'm a part of Mercer Football. I was a player for about 3 years, I believe. Yeah, 3 years, and now I medically retired my last year and stepped into an assistant role for the offensive line. So that's kind of my background with Mercer.
Man, so excited to have you on, man. You have been a steady presence with FCA huddles and everything that we've been doing. So I'm excited to kind of talk to you a little bit, kind of hear a little bit more about your story. So with that, man, tell a little bit about where you're from, like your upbringing, brothers, sisters, anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I was born in Gwinnett County, that's North Atlanta. Um, I was only there for about a year, and then my parents moved me to Ghana, which is in West Africa. So both my parents are West African, Ghanaian. So I was brought up there. I lived with my grandma, my mother, and aunties. We kind of really had like a big compound home, is what they call it, with a bunch of family members. Grew up there. Moved here, I believe. If I'm not wrong, I always get this wrong, but I think it was seventh grade. Seventh grade going into eighth grade is when I moved back here. With that came like football, so I didn't really know much about American football. Moving here, I mean, I've heard about it. I used to, people make jokes all the time, but like Super Bowl tees, like let's say like the Eagles and the Cowboys play and the Eagles lose, they'll like send the t-shirts there, and it's like, yeah, Eagles 2024 Super Bowl champs. That's about as much as I knew about football. So I came here and started playing football in eighth grade, and that was, I guess, the beginning of my journey here and as an athlete.
Man, that's already super cool to hear that it's started in Georgia and then we go
Mhm.
all the way to West Africa, then come back in those pretty formidable years of you. So tell me about like growing up there. Like, was there a big sport outreach? Were you playing sports at all? Like, what was it like there?
Right. In Ghana, really, there's soccer is a big thing. Football, what they call it. I don't want any
Yeah.
Ghanaians to say I'm a traitor, but football was the biggest thing there. AKA soccer. Um, Really, it wasn't there's people who play soccer, but they're usually through academies. So my sport like upbringing, like we had a basketball hoop in our house. That was as much as it went. I did karate, so got all the way up to second degree black belt.
There we
But
go.
really for me, yeah, there we go. For me, it was just music really, and then watching soccer. Nothing too athletic. If I nothing too athletic.
So once you came here, and seventh grade, eighth grade, in that time frame, did you naturally gravitate to football? Like, was that just, man, like I can't wait to get over there to play that? Or did you get here, see it, and then want to play it then?
Right. So, for me, football was kind of weird actually playing football. So, when I got here, obviously I was a little shy kid. I mean, moved from another country with a whole different accent. In those years too, that's when kids are not the nicest, unfortunately. So it was kind of like trying to find something that made me fit in a way. And I just gravitated towards football because all my friends or other people who were around me who were nice enough to me played football. So I went home one day and I was like, "Yeah, mom, I think I want to play football." And she's like, "What? You don't even know about football?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm about to find out." So I forced her to take me to Dick's Sporting Goods. I got myself a helmet. Found out later that the helmet was way too big. It kept flying off my head my first practice,
Yeah.
but went out there and I'm so if anybody knows much about Gwinnett, it's like a huge football league. That's where pretty much half of college football and a lot of NFL come from. So it's a lot of competition. So we had tryouts. It was a D1 team and a D2 team
Okay.
in eighth grade. So I tried out. I made the D2 team. That was pretty much, I guess, my start of my football journey. It wasn't really like, oh, I'm here to play football, but it just kind of fell into my lap, I guess.
Yeah. So with that, so was it like a rec department or like was that for your school?
So it was a rec department, but it's connected to
Okay.
the high school. So
Right.
it's
Okay.
like, yeah, right. I think this might be the same thing here. I know
There,
GYFL is what they
so
call it.
there's a lot of counties and
Hmm.
cities that are able to pull that off to where it's like like your rec department feeds right into your high school, like feeds like
Right.
it's the same, like like you're running the same kind of offense. You're like trying to learn the same kind of terminology.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
man, it's very special whenever you get those teams
Yeah.
that can do that because you grow up in it. That's all that you know, and so it's
Exactly.
natural by the time you get to the high school ranks that it's the same there. So, all right, so playing football there really started liking that. I do have to ask this because coaching the middle school, this is something I heard a lot. Moms and dads that didn't want their kids playing football, like
Mhm.
that too dangerous stuff like that. So from your side of it, coming from a different continent over here to
Mhm.
play, what was that like for your parents to be able to hear that playing like truly tackle football?
Right. My mom, I thank God for this, but I think I've had a pretty like free range mom. Like I had structure growing up, but like she really was like big into me like exploring everything. Like I
Mm,
did it. I played every instrument, did everything. I was in a marching band. They call it brass band back there, but same
yeah.
difference. But she was a little skeptical at first. She was like, "Are you sure you don't want to just play soccer?" And like when I was in Ghana, obviously I was a little smaller, like
Hmm.
fast little kid. But like when I got here, I started drinking that milk. That whole milk, man, did something to me. I started getting a little bigger. I was pretty tall for my age too, so it was
Yeah.
like she was like I couldn't really play soccer with the kids who play soccer. They're way faster than me. So
Yeah.
I was like, I think football will be good. And she wasn't really scared. It was my dad. It
Yeah.
was my dad. So like we hit it for him honestly for the first year.
Wow.
And he caught on towards the I think it was like towards the end of my eighth grade season. I posted on that's when I got Instagram for the first time.
Hmm.
When I posted on Instagram, and there's a picture of me playing football. He called my mom. He's like, "What is this?" What? But yeah, he kind of I guess fell in love with it too. Started
Yeah.
like getting into it as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, all right. So we've talked a lot about this with the huddle. I know you shared a lot with me in terms of this, but now let's go back from being born in Georgia, going to West Africa, coming back. What was it like? Like Christianity, going to church. Like how did all of that? Like what was your upbringing with that?
Right. Yeah. So, but I've talked about this for uh, I think a good bit of time. But growing up in Africa, or growing up in West Africa, I should say, Christianity is a huge thing, right? Because in West Africa, Christianity there is based on like I don't want to call it extreme Christianity, but there's things like spiritual beliefs in terms of like
Mhm.
spirituality and like evil and things like that. So uh, being a praying family was very important to my family.
Mhm.
I say this all the time. I feel like I have the most prayingest, I don't know if that's a word, but mom in the world. Like
Mhm.
I talk about it all the time, but like sometimes I'll being an old lineman like I was, I'll
Yeah.
be finding myself sneaking into the kitchen to get myself a bowl of cereal at 3 a.m. and my mom sitting in the living room praying. Like that's
Wow.
kind of how I grew up. I had a grandma who served in the church. She was a deaconess. I grew up
Mhm.
Presbyterian. My grandma was Presbyterian. My mom was non-denominational, so just kind of Hillsong s church.
Yeah.
So yeah, being Christian was very important to me. I was always taught to pray. I was always like taught the Bible from Sunday school. I mean, Sunday school was not a choice in my house. It didn't matter how sick you are, how tired you are, you're gonna get up and go to Sunday school.
Yeah.
But the church there, very in ways different, a lot more intense than like the church here. But it's all the same roots, which is serving and believing in God. So yeah, Christianity was a big part of my upbringing.
And so all right, so once you came here, did that just keep right on? Like were y'all able to get plugged into a church and what was it like coming to Georgia?
Right. So yeah, coming to Georgia, like I said, my mom, so actually my little background, my last, I think it was like 2 to 3 years in Ghana, my mom moved to London. So she was living in London and I was just living with my grandparents.
Mhm.
So and then she moved here before us. So she kind of wanted to come lay the foundation for us in terms of like
Sure.
having a place to stay. So she had met my stepdad as well. So they were here for I believe a couple months before I came, and then my sister
Uh,
came a year later. But when we got here, we couldn't really find a church. There's African churches or like African community churches, but those were a little far from my
mhm.
house. And then we got plugged in through my mom's work friend to a church called Influencers. I don't know if I think there's the same name now, but it was led by an Australian pastor, and it was
Okay.
kind of the similar non-denominational Hillsong S church. So
Yeah.
we got plugged in there, and it kind of took on from there as well in terms of like my I guess involvement in the youth group and youth camps, things like that.
Yeah, that was my next question then for like for you, what like were you able to get plugged in with, maybe classmates or at least people around your same age? And, what was that youth like for you, having a youth group to be able to go to?
Right. Yeah, youth group is a big thing to me, and I think at that age, and especially coming from where I came, um, I would say a big part of it was me. It helped me get like social and start to talk to people a lot. Like I said, when I moved here, kids were in the nicest. This was like right after the Ebola virus, so it was a whole bunch of African jokes and a whole bunch of things that kind of made me feel down on myself.
Sure.
But being able to get into a lot of the kids who went to my youth group or kids who went to my high school, so even older kids. So being able to get in with the older high school kids,
Mhm.
transitioning from eighth grade or middle school to high school, like I kind of became a cool kid all of a sudden because like I knew all the older kids. But
Yeah.
for a while, like youth group, obviously when you're that age, it's just trying to get you to church or get you active. So a lot of that was fun stuff like we'll play games, we'll get the word, yeah, but it was just getting involvement into the community and being able to, I guess, break out my shell. That was a huge part of me breaking out my shell.
Wow. Yeah. So all right. So in terms of numbers, like how many kids are we talking for your youth group?
Oh yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, our youth group was huge. It was huge. It's almost 100 kids, almost
Wow.
100 kids in our youth
Yeah.
group. The influencers, I would say, did a great job of like involving the youth. It was fun. Uh, it was an experience. It was, yeah, I would say probably about 100 kids.
Yeah.
100 kids. Yeah, it was a huge youth group.
Man, that's awesome. All right. So going from, starting to play football, and so now you're getting up to the high school level. Let's go ahead and jump to that. When did it start clicking for you in terms of being on the football field and being like, man, I am pretty good at this? Like, when did that start to happen for you?
Yeah. Um, I'd say ninth grade year. Honestly, I was a people make jokes all the time, but it's like African genetics. I was a bit like stronger than everybody. Like in eighth grade, I was playing, but like it was a lot of raw talent. Like
Yep.
even in ninth grade, I think it was a lot of raw talent. Like I was stronger, I was faster than a lot of kids, but I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So ninth grade, like the middle of my ninth grade year, I was playing freshman. So I don't know if it's like this for every school, but for bigger schools, it's you have a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team.
Yeah.
So ninth grade year, I was in a freshman team. I was like, I played O line and D line. I was dominating. I was like, if I maybe like put a little bit more time into this, I'd be a little good at this. So after the ninth grade season was over, I got moved up to varsity. So I got to, I didn't play, but
Yeah.
I
Right.
got
But you're
to
there.
hang
Yeah.
around. Yeah, I got to hang around, learn the system. And then that year, I got invited to the freshman All American game by Under Armour. So that was like my first
Hmm.
time. And when I got there, I'll tell the truth, I got embarrassed. Um, because these were kids who played football their whole lives, uh, weightlifted their whole lives, so they were way better than me. But that was like the turning point for me, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually dedicate time
Mm.
into becoming good at this. So
So, man, it's like I'm starting to get jacked up thinking about it. All right, so now going from ninth grade, man, like you dominate just like you say because because you can rely on the raw talent, on the God
yeah,
given talent that God has blessed you with. You
uh,
go and play with a little bit of tougher competition. You get humbled a little bit.
right,
So once you came back and now you're thinking, okay, you're about to go into your sophomore year, but man, pretty good chance to be able to play now with a varsity team now and just, really start making a name for yourself. What was it like for you? Like what were some of the little things that you were doing now that you didn't do the season before?
right. I would say I took weight training a lot more serious. Moving here, kind of like that was still a little fresh into my mom being here, so she was not in like her career field yet. So like things like maybe like paying for a training session, like were a little expensive. I know a lot of those kids were able to go to this place called GSP. I think it's either Gwinnett or Georgia Sport Performance, but that's where all the athletes who were like highly recruited went to. I couldn't afford that. My family couldn't afford that.
Right.
So I for I think my mom had one of her paychecks. She went and she got me it was like it was a duffel bag, and the duffel bag was cones, agility ladder, um those parachute things that you hang
Yeah.
around your waist. It had all that in there, and man, I think that was when it was like, okay, my mom, who doesn't know much about football, is able to get me that. That means like there's somebody who believes in me.
Mm.
So I took that. I started putting in work in our garage, in the backyard. I'd be running hills. It would be like 3 a.m. And it sounded. Are you getting feedback, bud?
Just a little bit. Nothing too bad though on my end. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounded like I had people who believed in me. So it's a little performative, but I'd be out there 12 a.m. and running up the hill, doing push-ups in my garage.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really when I started, like, I guess, taking it serious. And then the 10th grade, so this is where my 10th grade season now. Um, I was on varsity officially. I didn't play JV. I was on varsity playing with the older kids. And my second week, I got moved up as a starter. This was against North Gwinnett. So I got moved up as a starter my second week in varsity. And my first game was against Barrett Carter. He plays for the Bengals now at the block and ball game. So that was a quick turnaround.
So how did that go?
Man, so I didn't think it went horrible.
Yeah.
But it was definitely another wake up call. Like, it just seemed like I was getting wake up call after wake up call.
Yeah.
But it was humbling too. I remember he had blitzed through my gap one time. He about took my head off my shoulder. But
Yeah. Now, so like once you're playing varsity now, are you still playing both ways?
No. So I turned into a straight offensive lineman. Yeah.
And so how good was the team? Like, were y'all trying to make deep runs into the playoffs? Like, what was kind of the team goals for y'all every year?
Right. So like I said, we come like in Gwinnett is strong football roots. We played in some of the hardest. We played in, I think, the hardest division. Collins Hill, that's the Travis Hannah High School, North Gwinnett. So it was a lot of competition, and we were definitely not on the higher end of that.
Yeah.
But we were like an average team. Well, I think we won like maybe 6-7 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were not like a high caliber playoff deep run state championship time team. No, we weren't.
Yeah. All right. So going now, were you just playing football in high school, or did you throw or anything like that for track and field?
Right. So my high school journey was a little weird. So 10th grade year, towards the end of that season is when COVID started, when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So there was no football, there was no sports. And then so there was nothing. We didn't even get to. I don't believe we finished that season because we had a couple games canceled towards the end of that. So I was just in football at that time. And then fast forward 11th grade year. So at this point we go online, like everything's
right
in person or
crazy time,
online.
Man. What a time.
Yeah. Right when I felt like everything was falling into place for me, I was starting to get a little bit more social, playing varsity football as a sophomore. It was, I think, maybe 4 of us on that team who were sophomores, and we had a big team. I think our team had like 60 kids.
Wow.
So being able to get moved up, I was like, okay, this is it for me. And then COVID hit, so everything shut down. We're online, no sports. That was a tough time for me. I'll say that.
Yeah,
that was a tough time.
And so, all right, from that, once you come back, like you said, like you're going into the junior year now and everything. Was it still just football?
So that's when I picked up throwing and wrestling.
Yeah. Okay. So man, put the singlet on.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, man. Okay, you got to tell me about you on the mats, man. How was that, and what was that like for you?
Yeah. Man, I love wrestling. I honestly, wrestling was probably a little. Wrestling was my favorite sport. I would say that.
Really?
I feel like I've naturally just been like an aggressive kid.
Yeah.
In terms of I like tussling. I grew up with cousins. I don't have any brothers. So like my male cousins that I had would always tussle around with them. So I really did like wrestling. The conditioning is that was the worst part for me.
Right.
I remember, I think it was like my first week of practice. We had the whole 45-pound plates, and just run stadiums. I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I don't think I can last. I don't think this is for me, Mom." I don't think this is for me. So with that, we're still in COVID. School is optional at this point,
Yeah.
so not everybody's in person. My parents, my stepdad got a new job in Athens, so we moved.
Okay.
So this is in the middle of my junior year, when school is optional. So I'm doing online school, but I'm still playing football.
Yeah.
And they moved. So they moved to Athens, and now my commute turns into a 45-minute drive.
Oh wow.
Um, so during that time, I was like leaving. My mom was still working back in Gwinnett, so she would leave at like 4 a.m. My mom starts work at 5. So I'd leave with my mom, and then I go hang out at my friend's apartment,
Wow.
go to practice, go back there and wait till she gets off work at 3 and go back to Athens. And that became a lot. That became a lot regarding like commuting every day and on me, because then I couldn't do schoolwork all the time because I'd have to be waiting at the apartment. So I had to make a decision, and the decision was to, I guess, not quit school because everything was online, but I had to quit football my junior year.
Mm.
So in the middle of the season, I quit football because it was a lot of my mom on days that she didn't work, having to find a way for me to go to workouts, all that stuff. So I quit football my junior year, and I thought that was it for me.
Wow.
Um, that was a tough time for me mentally because I got to a point where I guess football wasn't an idol, but like that was a big part of who I was. That's how
Mm-hmm.
I got in with people. That's how like I was a conversation starter for me.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of my friends, pretty much everybody who I was friends with, was because of football. So that took a toll on me mentally. I would say that. So I sat home that whole, I guess, bottom end of my junior year, not really doing anything. Got really, really chubby. um, yeah, that's during peak quarantine time. There's no like gyms open,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
then I got an opportunity to play at a school, Coney County. So Coney County was they one of my buddies who I had met at Planet Fitness. This was just about the time that gyms were opening up. He told me he played at Oconee County. So he was like, "Yeah, you're in that district. I think they'll take you. Just come talk to the coach." So yeah, I got a chance to talk to the coach, and they were more than willing to have me. So I started working back out again.
Mm.
Um, at this point, the football season is it's playoff season, so I start working out again. I get in shape, and then so now my time at Preacher is over because online school was done. So
Yeah.
then I enrolled into Coney County, and then I started my senior year off over there playing football and going to school.
That's awesome. I don't even know if we've talked about this. So
I don't think so.
so I did that's where I did my student teaching at was Oconee County High School. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that would have been back in spring of 2010 is when that was because I was at
Wow.
like the University of Georgia, and so that was super close by, and so that's
Right.
where that's where I did my student teaching. So that's awesome, man. I never knew that you were like an Oconee County guy. So
Yeah.
all right, so now with all that, I mean, you just laid a lot out for us. Dealing with the quarantine, dealing with that, families moving, having to quit football for like a little bit of time. How did that play into your church life? Were you still connected with your youth group? Tell me about that side of it.
Right. So yeah, that whole quarantine and that whole movement really took a toll on me socially and especially with my church life because like I said earlier, I like fell into a bit of a depressive state. I wasn't really as connected to God as I'd been in the past with my church group. I wasn't actively. At this point, we're staying 45 minutes, an hour with traffic away, so I wasn't able to go to youth groups anymore. Around that time, a lot of my friends, I guess, that I had made, like we were just. I mean, in high school, friendships are not really. I'm not really talking to them every day or seeing them every day, so
Mm-hmm.
I kind of lose those friendships as well. So like, yeah, I was not really in church much. I was attending in the youth group. I was just honestly just trying to figure out life by my own. Um, my mom was always working and going, so she'd be gone for most of the day. My stepdad was at work all the time, so I was really by myself for a long
Yeah.
time, and yeah, I think that separated me from God, but it took away from my church life for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, knowing how you are now, so how did you get it back? Like, when did that relationship between you and Christ start to repair? When did all of that start to happen?
Right. Um, I think for my biggest like I guess get right with God moment was in my senior year. So in my senior year, I picked back up football, and I'm pretty good at football. But it's like I felt really lost because at this point, I played in a couple All-American games, a couple All-Star games. Like I'm in the same circle as like guys who are now coming into UGA and
Yeah.
other big schools, and I'm like, dang, I was just playing with them,
Yeah.
and I really started to feel down upon myself. I was like, man, God, like if this is your plan with my life, like I don't know what to do. I'm depressive,
Mm-hmm.
So I started like really praying again. I really started taking God serious. I didn't have a church in Athens. Um, so I would just do devotions on my own and I'd watch influencers, my home church online.
Yeah.
And I got plugged in with Athens Church. So
Okay.
Athens Church is about literally 5 minutes down the road from my house. So I'd take my mom's car. I didn't have a car at the moment, but I'd take my mom's car and I'd go to church
Mm.
every once in a while. I couldn't go all the time, but I'd go every once in a while. But that was just like really me, I guess, getting back into, because I knew like my mom was always telling me everything's possible with God. So just pray,
Right.
pray, pray, pray. And with that, by the grace of God, I was able to get a shot to play at Mercer. So I think it worked out. Praying worked out pretty good for me.
Man, it's always crazy how once you start making God the priority, everything else just falls right into place like it should be. So, all right. So now, man, tell me about the recruitment process. I mean, like you said, you played in a couple All-American games, stuff like that. So obviously you were getting noticed, you were getting seen. So how did that all unfold your senior year?
Right. So yeah, my senior year, it was crazy because like kind of going back saying I was like playing all those American All-Star games. I was getting recruited a good bit like my freshman, sophomore year just because I played at a 7A football, the freshman,
Yep.
sophomore. So automatically I guess some level of recognition.
Mm-hmm.
With that though, I feel like came a bloated ego. So like I thought very highly of myself, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was to a point where I thought I didn't have to rely on God. I thought I didn't have to rely on
Right.
anybody because I had it all figured out. Like I was gonna
That's
go
right.
play D1 football somewhere and be extremely good and make it to NFL and do all these
Yep.
things. Now, come my senior year, I stopped growing. I'm not a short person. I'm not like a tiny person, but like a lot of the guys who I play with now, they're like 6'4", 6'5", six
Yeah.
six, and I'm an offensive lineman, right? I'm 6'1.5" as an offensive lineman. It's like, ooh, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
So, my recruiting process, like kind of like, especially taking the junior year off, that's a very big like part of your season.
Yeah.
So my junior year film was literally just 3 games. It was first 3 game highlight, and I had nothing else. So with that was like coaches asking questions like, okay, we want to recruit you, but like, why didn't you play your junior year? And I have to explain to them that I didn't play for majority of my junior year. So that kind of really like played an impact, like a huge impact negatively on my recruiting.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I was getting a lot of D2 offers. I pretty much had almost every D2 offer in the country. But like I said, I had a bloated ego. So I was like, oh, I'm either going to
Mm.
play D2 football or go wrestle somewhere. I had a couple wrestling interests,
Okay.
but I was like, I'm not playing D2 football. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I was being a little rude to coaches. I would say that like coaches would hit me up and I wouldn't respond because I'm looking for the next best thing. Or like they'll hit me up, they'll talk, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah," and I'll just ghost them.
Oh
So
man.
I negatively impacted my recruiting, but
Sure.
so saying that to say, one of the coaches who recruited me at the D2 school, probably the best D2 school that I visited or that I actually like had interest in was Mercer University, up in North Carolina, close to that Asheville area. I
Yep.
visited; it was beautiful. I prayed about it a lot because, like I said, I wasn't really given a lot of D2 schools a chance because it was like D1 or bust for me. Like I was gonna go play D1 football, maybe wrestle, or just go to school and be a regular student.
Yeah.
Um, but I really fell in love with the place. I prayed before I went on that visit with my uncle. I prayed a lot, and that place, honestly, it felt pretty good to me. The coaches who recruited me, they did a good job. They visited me a couple of times,
Mm.
so that was good for me. So I was gonna commit over there. I was gonna commit over there, and then I was praying to God. I'm like, God, if this is what you want me to do, like let it happen. If it's not, like
Yeah.
it's like I guess show me a sign or whatever it
Right.
is.
Yeah.
And so before I committed, I don't know. I just for some reason I just kept stalling. It wasn't like I'm not a big like staller. Like if I think about something, I'm just gonna do it. Because
Yeah.
if I overthink, it's not gonna happen. But for some reason, I kept overthinking, so I just kept praying on it. and I found out that one of the coaches who recruited me, David Salmon, he was at Mercer.
Yeah.
So I was like, a big part of me not wanting to go to Marshall was it was too far for me. Like I'm a mama's boy. Like me being 4 or 5 hours from my mom, like that was the scariest thought on earth. Um, he was at Mercer, so I was like, oh my goodness, like Mercer's a D1 school. Like I said, it was close to home, an hour and 45 minutes
Yeah.
max. Um, and it's a high educational school. They have a PA program. I've always known I want to be a physician associate, so they have a PA program. It's probably going to be easy for me to get into the PA school because I
Hmm.
went to Mercer undergrad. So I applied to Mercer as a regular because at this point it's like maybe 2 weeks before you can't even sign to go play anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I waited a very long time. Like I think it was about 2 weeks till like you're done. Like you can't even be a walk on
Mm.
because rosters are set. Like it's about to be that time. I applied to Mercer. I got in with a good bit of scholarship money. I was able to
Mm.
get like university scholarships, like Hope, Zellmiller, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I basically practically had nothing to pay out of pocket. And then I DM'd coach. I texted Coach Sam and I was like, "Hey, Coach, I know you were at Marshall. I'm not going to go there anymore." Because at that point, I had basically verbally committed to go to Marshall. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go there anymore, but I just got onto a scholarship at Mercer, and I want to come play for you guys. And he showed the film to the O line coach at the time, and he liked my film. he liked my he liked my film.
Just a little bit of an inside joke between us on that. Okay, so he liked your film. Yeah, go
He
ahead.
liked my film, and they reached out to me. He reached out to me, and he was like, "Yeah, we'd like to have you. We'd like to have you." So it was a quick turnaround. It
Man.
was, I mean, at that point, I think I graduated a week and a half after that. I
Oh
graduated a
wow.
week and
I
a
mean,
half
so,
after
so
that. I
we're
had,
talking like this is like in May.
yeah, this is end of April to May. Like,
Oh man. Wow.
yeah. So I graduated a week and a half after that. I had a couple of weeks off, and then I moved on campus. That was it. Then I was at Mercer.
Man.
I committed here without even coming here. I've never been to Mercer before.
Oh really? Never even came for a visit or anything.
Never came on a visit. Nothing. My first time here was the freshman orientation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Wow. And I mean, just like you said, the way it all just kind of fell in place and just
Yeah.
uh literally like within a couple of days and all of a sudden here you go, Mercer University coming to play football. So what did like what did your mom think about that? Like how was how did that kind of play in and was she trying to give you advice along the way?
Yeah. Um, my mom was not the biggest fan of me coming to Mercer because I had to pay a little bit out of pocket.
Yeah.
And every other school that I had was full ride scholarship with a little bit extra.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And like me coming here was kind of taking a risk on myself,
Mm,
or like I was willing to take that. I had faith in myself that I was able to come here and like perform highly and get the rest of my school covered. And it was
yeah.
really I was taking a risk on myself because at that point there was no scholarships left to give. Everything else was done. But by the grace of God, I was able to get the school paid for all my school and things like that. So yeah, she was not a big fan of it. Her biggest thing was money. Obviously, as a parent,
Yeah.
you're worried about how you're
That's
going to
right.
cover your kids' college. Like college is not cheap. College is not achievable for a lot of people.
That's
So
right.
her biggest thing was
Especially
me.
a private university.
Yeah, going to a private university, literally. And she was like, "Wow, like you can like." I had pretty good grades in high school, test scores, so I could. She was like, "If you don't want to play football, you don't have to go to UGA, which is 5 minutes away. You can live home and pretty much get all your school paid for at UGA by being a regular student or just
Yeah.
a NARP, as they call it."
Yeah.
But I prayed with her. She prayed on it, and she told me she was like, "Hey, I've raised you to be a prayerful young man, and if this is what you feel like God's calling you to do, I support you." So she was in the boat from there.
Wow, man. Man, that is so cool. So all right, now like you make this decision, you have probably a couple weeks to pack before like you need to be down there.
Mhm.
What was it like, man? This is what I always like to ask y'all. Like, what was it like first day you get dropped off, parents leave, and now it's just you on this campus by yourself? What was that feeling like for you?
Man, um, I would say I've always been like I have a pretty good grasp of my emotions and being able to control them. When we were moving in, we had a team meeting that day.
Mm,
There was a wreck. There was a wreck. I think Monroe is what they call it. It's like a little small town, back roads. There
yeah.
was a wreck there. So I was literally late on my first day. So when we moved in, I grabbed my stuff. With my mom and my sister. We drove different cars, but my
Hmm.
sister was following us. I was driving my mom. Like we were like 10 minutes away from here. I'm like, Mom, I'm about to go to college. Like, this is it. Like, this is
Yeah.
it, Mom. Like, you're probably gonna. I don't have a car. I'm not gonna be able to come home all the time. Like, this is it. She was like, Yeah, yeah. Mom starts crying. I'm like, Mom, why are you crying, bro? Like, lock in. And she starts crying, and I'm like trying to act all nonchalant and cool. Um, so they drop me off. I don't even have a chance to grab all my stuff. So they move my stuff in my room, and I'm in team meetings just like that. Like
Yeah.
everything was happening so quickly. I'm in team meetings. All of a sudden, we're in position meetings, and we're doing install.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's like,
Here
oh
we
my
go.
goodness. And I'm like watching my mom's location, and she's in Legacy's where I stay. She's like putting my stuff in Legacy, and she texts me, and she's like, all right, I'm leaving. Because like she couldn't come in, like we were me. It was
Yeah.
just like we were going. She's like, I'm leaving. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And she leaves. I like watch her location, drive off the highway. I'm like,
Oh
whoa.
man.
So I'm sitting in meetings. I'm like, oh cool, like still getting to know the guys and stuff. I go to my room. My room's all set up. I lay in my bed and I start bawling my eyes out. I'm like, oh my
Man.
goodness, like this is it. Like I'm in college. Like I feel like everything happened so quickly. I didn't have time to process it while it was happening. But like
Hmm.
it hit me, like everything hit me in that one moment. I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I guess I'm in college now. I'm away from my family. I have to do this, do this, do this, do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an interesting feeling. Yeah, like to
Yeah.
say the least. That was an interesting feeling.
Man. Yeah. No, it's a big moment for everybody, I think, man, once you go off and it's your first moment where you're by yourself. Like there's no one
Right.
else. And now it's on you. Like if you need to go to the grocery store, you got to go to the grocery store. Like you got to figure this out now.
Yeah.
And super super important moment, like I think in everyone's life. So thanks for sharing that, man. And so now, all right, now obviously you're in college, trying to figure out the academic life, trying to figure out the athletic life as well.
Mhm.
What was it like, not only trying to balance that athletics and academics, but also trying to figure out your spiritual life as well?
Right. Um, yeah, so I when I got here, football was the main thing on my mind. I was here to get the rest of my school covered. I was here to play football. I was here to get a degree as well, but I feel like in the beginning I kind of started to not idolize football and
Sure.
put less priority on my education. My grades were slipping my freshman year. I was a biology major, so I was taking all the hard classes, all the chemistries,
Yeah.
all the weed out like courses, and I'm trying to figure out football as well. So I definitely almost got wetted out. I'll say that, but it was kind of sticking to the script and sticking to the plan that I knew that I had for myself, but also God had for me.
Mm,
Sticking to my expectations that I had on myself, but my family also had on me. Like I had a lot riding on my shoulders. I felt like, so I changed majors the end of my freshman year to kinesiology. Um, and from there, I kind of started to, I guess, get a grasp of my football or my school. So at that point, I'm focusing on school, focusing on football, but then my relationship with God starting to slip. It's I lack I very much so lack balance. I wasn't
yeah.
praying as much, like intentionally praying. Like I prayed because I knew I had to pray. So like I'd
Hmm.
wake up and I'm like, oh God, thank you for waking me up. Allow me to have a good day, amen. Or like I'm about to eat, I'm like, oh God bless this food, and I eat the food, and that was it. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't in deep intentional prayer as I used to be in the past. Like I didn't have time. Like I used to put away 30 minutes to just sit down and reflect and pray. I
Yeah.
wasn't doing any of that anymore. It was school and football, school and football, school and football. And I started to, I guess, lose my intentionality with God. And it just kind of became a thing where,
Mm,
oh, I grew up Christian. I grew up in a praying household, so I don't have to pray. But it was like, it was mindless prayer in a way.
yeah.
Like, yeah, so that was, yeah, that like my sophomore year, I say was the biggest drop in my relationship with God for
Mm.
sure.
And so how did you get it bad? Like, I mean, how did you get to
Yeah.
where you are now? What was the driving factor?
Yeah. So Socially, I felt like I became a big presence at Mercer's. Like socially, I was in a lot of things. I started clubs. I was going to party, like things like that.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people. I got in like touch with a lot of people. And what you don't realize about college is like you think I wasn't very social in high school. All I like
Mhm.
everything that I did was based on football in my youth group. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to homecoming, like none of that stuff. So I wasn't a really
Yeah.
social person in high school. So coming to college, like all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I can go to a party or I can do this and come home at 3 a.m. and nobody's gonna care. Like that doesn't even
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Like nobody's even gonna know. So with that came like getting in with groups of people who I probably shouldn't have surrounded myself with, getting a lot of drama and things like that. And I felt like a lot of that like it sucked the energy out of me. It sucked the life
Mm.
out of me. I felt like everything that I was doing was so mindless. Like I didn't really care about much. I started to lose conviction, like from
Mm.
being previously being a very like heavily convicted person. Like every little thing that I did, I like thought about 1,000 times. Like I'm like, oh, what like this is like how is it serving my purpose? How is it serving God? I started to lose that. I started to do things like that put me first.
Mm.
I do a lot of things and I wouldn't even feel bad, or like I like certain things that I wouldn't have done in the past, or I wouldn't do now, and I didn't feel bad. Um, there's very few moments in my life where I would say I'm depressed. That's because like when I was a kid, my mom didn't even let us use that word. She was like, that's not a word in my that's not a word in this house. This is not a dictionary for us. No, we're not depressed. If you feel sad about something, that's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel emotion, but you're gonna pray
Yeah.
about it. And she always used to say depression is what you feel when you don't put when you're not praying. So that wasn't really a word for me.
Go.
But I would say like that whole when I had to quit football happened, that was a moment where I felt that, but I never felt it to such an extreme, like extreme to the end, like middle to end of
Mhm.
my sophomore year. This is like right after spring break.
Yeah.
Um, I really fell into a dark place, and I was just doing stuff mindlessly, not really caring about people, not putting people
Yeah.
first, putting me first essentially. And
Yeah.
one day I was sitting in my room. I was just sitting staring at my I lived in le- staring I was staring at my mirror essentially, and I was like, God, I want to be able to feel bad. Like
Mm.
I want to be able to have a heart after you. I want to be able to like do things that like make me happy and that also make you happy. But most
Mm.
importantly, I want to feel bad. I want to have conviction. I want to do stuff and like no, that's not right. Because I feel like as a Christian and as a believer, the worst place to be is a place where you lose your conviction, because
Yeah.
conviction is what guards your heart. And my heart was not guarded. It was not guarded towards being a leader, being a person, or being a servant.
Mm.
But my heart was guarded and guided towards making me happy. And I felt like that was not the place for me to be at all. That was not the place for me to be at all. So I prayed that prayer, and from then I just started doing like little devotionals. Even then, it was on and off. It was like I'll do it for two
Sure.
weeks, I do it for a month, and then I fall back into the same cycle of selfishness, and I do it again, and I fall off, and it wasn't real consistent.
Yeah.
But at least I felt like I was trying. I felt like I was doing enough. That's what I felt like, but that was not the case. But that's what I felt like during that season, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
So come junior year, I was again doing the same on and off cycle of just. I've always been a prayerful person. Like I've always prayed. I've put God first. I felt like, but I always felt like I was doing just enough. Cause I was like, okay. I just ask myself this all the time. If God came right now, would you go to heaven? And I felt like I lived my life trying to performatively answer that question.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm being kind to people. I'm putting people first. I'm giving. I'm praying. But it was so performative. Like I was
Yeah.
doing that because I knew I had to do that to go to heaven, not doing that out of the kindness of my heart or doing that because I know that's what's right. I'm doing that to go to heaven. Like I had a
Yeah.
goal, and that was not a good place for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So senior year, this year,
Yeah.
last semester, I went through a couple like hard like life changes that really again put me in that bottom state again. One of my friends Michael. I think he's actually been on this
Yeah,
before, this
yeah, sure.
podcast.
Yeah.
Michael, yeah, I spoke to Michael. We used to go on football trips. So at this point, he's an assistant with football. So we used to go on football trips. So we always used to talk. And like I've always like I said had strong understanding of the Bible, like what Christ means and things like that. But he was somebody who like challenged my intellect
Mm,
in a way. Like he was really able to like pick in my brain.
yeah.
I've had very few conversations to where like at least about the Bible where I feel like I didn't know something or like I questioned something that I thought I knew.
Yeah.
And he asked me a question. He was like, "Are you a believer in Christ?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you a follower or are you a believer?" And like he like that question really had me stuck. I was sitting there, I'm like, huh. Like I
Mm,
said, like in the past, like all the things I did, I felt like it was performative. Like I was
yeah.
following Christ,
Right.
but like I was not believing in Christ. I was not actively believing in Christ. And that really, I'll say that conversation really had me thinking.
Mm,
Like 2 weeks later, he got me a Bible because I didn't have a hard copy of my Bible. It was always on my iPad, making notes, pretty notes, put in
right.
highlights in different colors. Oh, he got me a hard copy of the Bible, and that was really, I'd say, the
Man.
turnaround point in my life.
Dude, that's so cool to hear because I didn't. I mean, obviously, I didn't really know that, all of that the last couple of years, but because I
Yeah,
know, man, like whenever we first started doing, FCA last semester, like that, like the core group, man, it was you, Caleb, Kale, Kendall, like I always felt like you guys were like your own little men's group, staying together and just,
yeah,
man, y'all would always come and tell me, hey, this is what we read this week, this is what, kind of
yeah,
like what, like we've been studying, but how important is that for you to have a group of guys right now at this stage in your life and at this age and
yeah,
about to go off starting a job and everything like that that's coming, but having a core group of guys that you could really live life with spiritually, how important is that for you?
yeah. Um, it's very important. I feel like we live in a world of influence. Whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you're always being influenced by things and people around you.
Mm,
Having a group of people who are who have a heart after God is the biggest thing because it's so easy, especially in college and especially with our age. Like we're all in our 20s, like early 20s.
yeah.
Which sounds so crazy to say. Like we're all in our early 20s about to go off on life. And we have different stages in our lives where like we're formed as people.
Mhm.
When you're a boy and you're a teenager, you're formed as like a young man, and like now it's like these are the formative years for manhood.
Yeah.
And I think it's very imperative because having those group of guys around you who not only hold you accountable but like hold themselves accountable through leadership and through
Mm,
like their relationship with God is very important because it's easy for me to be like, okay, I have a group of good guys around me, but then like we talk about stuff and we're not really living it, or we talk
yeah.
about stuff and they're not really holding me accountable. Like those guys really hold me accountable. They like if I'm slipping up, they're like, hey, bro, like like check yourself. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But
Yeah.
like, what's your heart posture? Like, which way are
Mm,
you leaning? Right? And it's like I said, I really give Kel a lot of credit because he asked me that he's like, yeah, you're doing all of this, but where's your heart posture? Like, what like in what way is your heart posture towards serving God? And it's just like really, it's really important. It's really important. Like I'll like talk to Caleb or like I'll be do something. Caleb like, yeah, bro, like my career, this doesn't even sit right with me. Like or
yeah.
like we'll do like we'll see certain things. I'm like, yeah, man. But it's just having those group of guys who are not like we're all leading each other. We all lead because we're not
Yeah.
perfect. We're not doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, we're working towards perfection, which is we're never going to achieve. But it's at least our heart is postured in the right direction, and
Yeah.
I think that's been very helpful to me.
Man, it's so awesome to see. It's so like refreshing to see because I've shared with y'all a lot with like, that I've talked about the men's group that I have, and so
Yeah.
we started meeting as a men's group in 2020. So we've been 5-6 years now, and we're all spread out. Like we're all like on the same weightlifting team, so we're all like connected because we all compete together and stuff. And so that's how it all started. And so we're all spread out like across the U.S. So we meet
Right.
every Monday night on Zoom. And man, we've been doing this since November of 2020, every Monday night.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing this 5-6 years. I'm turning 40 this year. So knowing that, I started doing this when I was 35. So thinking like, man, if I would have had these guys when I was 20, like we've talked about this all the time. Like, what if we would have gotten together way back then and all the stuff that we're talking about now that we're rehashing and going over and, second guessing the little stuff that we've done in our lives. Like, what if we'd have had this men's group then? Like, what if we'd have had
Mhm.
these guys be able to bounce this stuff off of? And so to like see y'all do it at such an early age is
Yeah.
it's so awesome to see. And I know you guys are gonna just only make each other stronger and make each other sharper. And just being in the word together, being rooted in that is like amazing, man. It's a blessing. I mean, it truly is. And so as we kind of wrap it up, man, like I know you spoke at our church a couple weeks ago, but if you would like speak a little bit about how, obviously like you already talked about the guys, but how has FCA, kind of helped you and kind of impacted your life so far this year?
Right. Yeah. Man, I can't speak enough about it. But this last year of my life is where I've really taken a step. I feel like my walk with God has always had seasons, and in those seasons come like things that I'm doing good, but like things that are not look good, like the imperfections in life, right?
Mm,
And I feel like in every season or every stage of my life and my walk with God, the biggest like the thing that's been constant is like consistency,
mm,
being consistent in the word and having a group of people that are around you, right? So like this last year, I got really close with my guys, like Caleb and everybody, Caleb, Tim,
yeah,
DK, joining in from us. But like just having a consistent group of people and a consistent source of the word, right? Because it
yeah,
gets distracting when you're in college, when you're trying to figure things out, when you're doing school, when you're doing sports, or whatever it is that you're involved in, right?
hmm,
But FCA in the last year has served as a consistent like a consistent checkpoint of my week, right? It's on
mm,
Wednesdays. Like that's the middle of my week. It's consistently um I'm getting the word of God, right? Because
yeah,
it's easy to let's say you have a busy week. Monday comes along, you have practice. Tuesday comes along, you have to now catch up on school, right? And then let's say I was in Wednesday, I'm like, okay, Wednesday I'm just gonna rest. I'm just gonna stay in my room and rest. And then Thursday comes along, you're doing something again. Friday, weekend, you know what I'm saying? So it's sort of
yeah,
such a consistent checkpoint or like a daily stop in my week where I know no matter what, if I was too busy this week to get in my word, I know I'm going to go get the word.
yeah,
I know I'm going to be around a group of people who are going to hold each other accountable and who have each other's best interests at heart or and like that. Yeah, that's been awesome for me, and it's allowed me to get in my word more. I went from doing just Wednesdays to now Tuesday Bible study over
right.
Rock Springs, and it's like now I'm just building like that relationship with God. I'm building a relationship with people who care about God and each other, and yeah, it's been awesome. It's been awesome and helping me stay consistent in the word. I would say that.
Man, like I know whenever y'all come back and you're talking about these other groups that you've started and Bible
Right.
studies and everything else, man, you're passing out these journals to people and want to get
Yeah.
other people involved. And man, like it's knowing that, I mean, because that is what we're trying to do with FCA, man. Like
Yeah.
engage, equip, and empower, sending out disciples that want to make more disciples. And
Yeah.
man, like to be able to see that happen, man, the fruit is definitely coming. And it's a perfect segue for everyone that's listening right now. I mean, you can definitely help us. You can definitely partner with FCA. Everything with FCA, we are fully faith funded by people giving to this to the mission. And so like all of our links are located here, but we are once we started the podcast, the goal was to find 12 families that would like to give $40 a month. Right now, we have found a few of those families. We still have 9 spots left. So if that's something you're kind of thinking about, it's a great way you can give to what we're doing on the campus of Mercer with FCA. $40 a month. You can sign up. Everything comes off automatically. Everything that you give goes 100% to what we're doing on this campus. It doesn't get flushed out to every other campus and stuff like that. And that helps take care of these Bibles. That helps send some of
Yeah.
these athletes to camp this summer. That helps the food that we have to give because we got to feed all of these athletes. They like to eat, and so we got to like all of that goes to that. So please think about that. Please pray about that. About giving $40 a month to the Mercer FCA, to the everything we're doing on the campus would be awesome. But Berko, man, this has been an awesome conversation. We're almost an hour into this thing, and it has been so cool to be able to hear your story. Like I said, like I kind of knew part of it, but didn't really know all the details of that. got a pretty cool connection at Oconee County High, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Like as well.
No
But
worries.
yeah, the Warriors, baby. But man, thank you, dude. Thank you so much for being on and being honest and transparent and just sharing your story, man. It has been awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me on here, man. I was a little nervous at first, but this has been great.
Dude, you were great, man. You were spot on with everything. But guys, thank y'all so much for joining us. Again, all the links there to be able to give are there. Please share this podcast. Please share the links about giving as well. And like everything, like there's a newsletter that I send out as well. You can always comment your email. I can add you to that and like just try to give everyone an update of what's going on the campus as well. And I send that out every 2 weeks. So please partner with us, be involved with FCA. But thank you guys so much for joining us here, Mercer FCA podcast, and we will see you guys next week.